resource. Okay, cool. Hi, Vinny. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Just starting my day, usual. Wake up, make the bed, meditate, write my 10 things I'm grateful for, and waiting for the day to begin.
Amazing. I love that start. That's a good morning routine. Okay, so we had talked a little bit last time about your goals, your dreams, what you want your life to look like, what you feel like is stopping you. And we kind of uncovered a few limiting beliefs that might be keeping you stuck. And so today I wanted to just do an exercise to help you flip those limiting beliefs around. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. So do you have a piece of paper and pen or pencil handy? Great.
Always.
So I want you to take your pen and draw a line down the middle so you have two columns side by side.
Okie dokie.
Okay. And on the left, we're going to leave the right side blank for now. On the left side, I want you to write down all of those things that sort of repeat in your head that you tell yourself, or maybe someone in your past has told you of why you are not successful, why you won't be successful, the I'm twos, I'm not enoughs, the I'll nevers, all those ideas.
Okay. It's gonna be a long list, so you might want to
Okay,
get a cup of coffee or something.
great. I'll be right back. I've got some.
Uh,
I should have brought my coffee.
yeah, yeah. I already finished mine.
Yeah.
Um, that's a lot. If I keep
Is it
going,
feeling
I'm never gonna.
overwhelming?
Yes, a bit. If I keep going, I'm probably gonna shut off this phone.
Okay, great. Let's stop there then. Thank you for telling me and not just powering through it. Um, the good
Yeah,
news
that's
is
one thing.
we're not going to
I'm
stay
not.
here in
Okay.
in this space. We're going to, get past this space. So, yeah, I'm glad you're listening to your body and being honest. Okay. So, let me ask you this before we flip these around. What's going to happen if you keep believing these thoughts and moving through life as if these thoughts are true?
Probably more of the same. That's
And
about it.
what is more of the same for
Oh,
you?
um, taking 4 steps forward and taking 5 steps back.
Okay.
Just like I leave the nest and I have to return to the nest. I leave the nest, return to the nest. Finding self-destructive activities to do instead of what I really want. And it just, like I've been wanting to be one of the world's greatest actors since I was like 16, but like it just doesn't seem to work because of, you know, reasons. And I find that it all begins with me and ends with me. Like I'm not smart enough, I'm not doing enough work, I'm too fat, I'm too brown, I'm in the wrong spot, I'm too chicken shit to go to like LA or Tennessee or whatever where the work is. But the thing is, like, I don't know if I would do well with outside of the 70% of the year that you're not working.
Thank you for being so vulnerable with your thoughts and beliefs. I really appreciate
Um, I'm an actor. That's what we do.
it. Yeah, it
We
is what we do.
we expose the truth so that people can live cathartically through us. So hopefully they can work through their trauma. At least that's my
Yeah.
hope.
So, So believing these things will just get you more of the same self-destructive behavior. It'll keep you from, moving forward. It'll take you more steps back, 5 steps back when you've moved 4 steps forward. Um, how willing are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to see things differently in yourself?
It fluctuates between 4 and 7.
Okay.
I mean, some days I'm like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of trying? What's the point of getting out of bed? I mean, everything's stacked against me, and in this climate that we're in currently, it even feels more stacked. I mean, I say one wrong thing, and I could be on a trip to Salvador. I've been born and raised in America my entire life, but I look like every other brown person on the earth. So that's fun.
That is very scary, and your feelings are valid. And, I it's a very scary time. And
Yeah,
we
there's a
can't,
reason why I speak in a certain way to some people, and others I speak a certain way.
right. And we can't necessarily control what's happening in the world around us. What we can control is what we think and feel about ourselves. And I think that at this time, when things are so scary and uncertain in the world, we have to do the work to have peace within ourselves. Otherwise, it's going to be overwhelming, right?
Yeah, to say the least.
To say the least. Um, so like we cannot, I mean, there are things we can do to we can protest and we can take action. We cannot control everything that people outside of us do, right? And that
Yeah,
doesn't mean don't take that action. Like take that action, but we have to keep our peace inside of ourselves so that we can keep taking that action without burning out and without letting the fear hold us back and stop us, right?
yeah,
So today we're not going to work on like what he's doing. I'm not even going to say his name. We're going to work on these thoughts that you're having about yourself. Okay.
sure.
So give me one, maybe since we had to stop, like maybe start with the easiest one you think that we could flip around and change.
It's hard to prioritize which ones. Uh, hold on. I have to finish the thought on this one.
Okay.
Uh, I guess. Well, I mean, like the only one I could think of right now that can be somewhat tackled, I think, is feeling not worthy.
Sure. Yeah.
My entire life, I was told that I was ungrateful, unappreciative, and by my first bully, which was my dad, spoiler alert. And he always would say, "Are you an idiot boy? Are you a street boy? You are killing your mother because I'm having bad grades." And I had this thing in my head that was like, if I didn't become successful by the time I was 30, 30, I'm 38 now, I was going to die and I need to get all my shit together, pardon my French, or else I
Right.
would never amount to anything. And that's just how I've always viewed it in my 20s. I hit it
That's a lot of
fucking
pressure.
hard. I mean, my entire life was pressure. I mean, between my dad living in bumblefuck nowhere, Virginia, and then 9/11 happened. So then I was, quote, cursed with this last name. And then I was every ethnic slur under the sun. It didn't really understand most of them, so it didn't really bother me.
Yeah. But
But
still
then
probably hurt because you knew the intent
there
behind.
was, yeah, and I've been flipped the bird many times in my life. Like someone's given me the middle finger, but it wasn't until last year that someone gave it to me that it actually really fucking hurt because there was so much malintent behind it
Mm.
because I disagreed with 47 and his beliefs. And I didn't even say anything. I just was like, yeah, maybe things will get better. And anyway, that's a different story. The point is that I never felt like I would ever amount to anything unless I was had a decent job, had a family, have my own place because you ain't no man unless you got some land. And I never felt that I would get anywhere unless I did it before 30. Now I'm 38 and I moved back home and I tried living on my own three, four different times. So I've had many failures to launch. I've got no babies. I got no partner. And it's just like, what kind of man am I? I can't even contribute to fucking society. And I want to play dress up for a living. This is ridiculous. And I want to prove to the world that I'm not just an ethnic actor. Like that's what's really pissed me off is just like they people can't just see me as an actor. They just like, oh, well, he's brown. Well, we can't really make a family around him because there's no one that looks like him. Oh, the role calls for this. I mean, Jason Mantzoukas, Greek actor, once said on Sam off camera with Sam Jones, he said, went to an audition many times with his director, and he came to the diner I was at, and he says, "Man, you're really good. The client isn't writing for you right yet." And that's what it feels like. It just fucking feels like everywhere I go, I have to change people's minds. I actually had one guy look at me and said, you should only audition for what roles are made for you. And I looked at this very, very privileged white man and I said to him, if I waited for that, I'd never work. If it's male and my age range, I go for it.
Yeah.
And the thing, I don't play instruments very well, so I don't audition for stuff like that because there's someone else that's better suited for that. But if it's
Oh,
male, my age range, I'm gonna go for it.
right.
I just never felt worthy enough, so I've always had to work harder. And like, it feels like no matter what I do, going to school, doing every theater project, every film project I get my hands on, doing voice work, doing stand up, doing fucking voice work for a hip hop group is still not quite cranking the mold. And now I keep
Right.
hitting paywalls. They're like, yeah, we can help you out. You just got to pay $1,200
Right.
and we'll give you the secret sauce. I'm just like, what? This is
They have all the
anyway.
answers, right?
Yeah, but what's funny is every book I read and every time I go to these sessions, it's all the same. It's within you. You can figure it out. I'm like, I can't figure it out. I've been in here. In
Okay,
here does
pause.
not know.
Pause. All right. I'm
Yeah, I talk.
sorry that your dad was your first bully, the person who should protect you and love you unconditionally, and
Yeah,
just that you should make you know that you are just inherently worthy being alive. And there is no excuse. I'm sure that he grew up with someone who treated him the same way, and that's how he learned. Just because that happened doesn't mean that it's okay for him to do that to you.
yeah. Everyone near when people hear about the origin story of my dad, that's when they're all like, "Oh, well, you have to understand why he is the way he is."
And
Your
that's
dad
fine. We can
watched.
understand that that's the way he is, but also we don't need to still put ourselves in the line of fire
This
and
is just.
and be hurt by him, right? So, are you still in contact with your dad?
I made peace with him. After the pandemic, I had the conversation that all men have with their fathers and the parents they have the issues with. So when he goes, I'll be okay. And I've tried to understand him my entire life, and all the stories I hear about him is through my mom. So that's fun. All the good and the bad ones, and
Right.
I
And
know
there's
everyone's
going to
like,
be good and there's going to be bad. And it doesn't excuse, like, there's no excuse for what he did and what he said to you. You can
yeah,
understand why he did it. It's still like he should be the person who loves you unconditionally, protects you. And I'm sorry that you didn't have that in him.
it's nothing to be sorry about. It's his choice, and now he's alone in Virginia where he belongs. That's what he wants. He wants to die in that house, and he will die alone. And
And
that's okay.
you can
It's his
choose
choice.
to break that cycle. You can choose to be different.
My entire life is just being different. Every fucking person I meet, they're like, oh, Vin Dog, you're really different. You got a different head on your shoulders, different view in the world. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because, I didn't grow up with a lot of. I mean, I didn't grow up with a lot of like advantages. I did and I didn't. I grew up. We never went for food or hunger, and everything. But when 7 o'clock rolled around, we didn't know if it was going to be World War III or if it was going to be peace times.
And
It
that's
all
so
depends.
the just like the nervous system can't handle that as a child or as an adult. It's Are you seeing a therapist or have you seen a therapist to talk about this?
Oh, of course, yeah. It's just sometimes I have money to go, sometimes I don't have
Right.
money to go because it's like, do I want to eat today and pay for car insurance, or do I want to fork over money for my mental health when I could just, use pen and paper, which
Right.
is sometimes all the can equate to what some therapists can do for me.
Right.
Because they always say to me, you got to figure this out yourself. You got to let it go. You got to do this. I'm like, well, then why the fuck am I paying you if I have to figure it out myself? If I have to let it go, it's your job to be able to identify. Yo, Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm like, fuck you, guy. I've been on this earth for 38 years, and anger, frustration, and fear have been my bread and butter for so long. And acting is the one outlet where it's like able to be expressed effectively. That and Muay Thai kickboxing, and it rotates when I have even capacity for that.
So
I'm not
let's
saying
think
that
I
like
play
every
dress up
day is
for a
bad.
living, Vinny.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that. I play dress up for a living. You just told me
yeah.
something that makes that not true. What did you just tell me about what acting does for
That
you?
allows me to cathartically work through my emotions. Yeah, I mean, I use my anger and frustration and everything in there. It's just energy that's to be converted.
Yeah.
And, I enjoy playing broken characters because I relate to it and their flawed is fascinating. Perfection is boring to me
Hmm.
because I've had to play
Plot
perfect
is
my entire life.
fascinating. Perfection is boring. Okay, let's write that down.
Which side? The left side or the right side?
The right side.
All right. I
And
mean,
let's
what you
write, being an actor helps me, what you said.
cathartically work through my emotions.
There you go. Let's write that on the right side.
I went to school for psychology and theater because psychology studies the human condition, theater
Right.
expresses it. And I figured if I can teach kids how to identify and effectively express their emotions, then they
Yes.
can articulate it to their parents that can't do it themselves. And they can listen with their eyes and their ears to know when to fight and when to just let them do their thing. So,
So you enjoy helping others who may have gone through the same thing as
yeah,
you.
that's why Batman's my favorite hero because he doesn't want people to go through the same pain as he did
Hmm.
as a kid.
Right.
He focuses all that energy to something positive. He
Yeah,
puts his body, his mind, his heart on the line every single fucking day. And that's what I try to do cathartically.
exactly. Okay, great. So write this down on the right side. Everything you said about Batman, I want you to write about yourself in the first person. I do that.
I use my anger, sadness, frustration as fuel to help others cope and identify trauma and hopefully find better solutions. And
How
that's why
has this
Batman's
been
my hero.
true in your life so far?
I mean, I've always been in customer service. I've always been of service to people because, what Zig Ziglar used to say, in order to get what you want, you got to help a lot of
Yep.
other people get what
I
they
love that
want.
quote. Yep.
I have a vision board full of quotes somewhere.
Yeah. Write
I
that down
stare
on
at
the
it.
right-hand side. I am of service.
I mean, like that's kind of a
I'm
big thing
just
in my
taking
family.
things that you are saying. These are also your beliefs about yourself.
I have lots of
We're just
beliefs.
focusing on the other ones more than we are these.
But when your father works for a five-star restaurant, five-diamond hotel, and your mom's a nurse for all of her life, can't help but be of service in some capacity.
And being of service is amazing. And
But it just also feels empty at times. That's the thing. It's a double-edged sword because you
okay.
give and you give and give of yourself, but when you come home, what do you have left? The old man had nothing but all the anxiety and frustration he felt, and of course the racist remarks he dealt with while he was at work. Because he's much darker than me, and he has a pretty decent thick accent. Uh, I can't do his accent for whatever reason. It just never sounded like an accent till I was away from him for 10 years, and I heard him. I was like, holy shit, when did you have an accent?
Hmm.
Anyway, it's weird when you have ethnic parents like that.
Yeah.
But no, I do feel like I've always had if I can get three things a day where I can be of service, I get
Mhm.
to act and train in like Muay Thai or some kind of martial arts, is a
Yeah.
good day, you
Great.
know. But I don't always
And
get those
that
three
is
things.
all in your control. You can do all of that,
Yeah,
right? And it's important to be happy and fulfilled by things that are in your control and not have it be like if it were like someone else has to be of service to me or someone has to hire me for an acting job, those things are out of your control. But you yourself
yeah,
can practice acting anytime. You can be of service to people of any time. You can practice your martial arts anytime. Like that's good to have. Um, and it's good to know that that fills you up and that makes you happy. And that is like a good day for you if those things can happen.
yeah. I mean, they're simple, you know. I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm starting to open my mind to like doing text analysis and doing D&D because that's all it is voice acting.
Hmm.
And just like opening up opportunities and such. I moved out, like, moved back home, and I ate a, a feast of humble pie, and I'm just now starting to digest it, and things are making more sense. I
Can I talk about that for a little bit too?
The humble
I,
pie,
well, no, just that you had to move back home and
yeah,
live
for
with,
the umpteenth time.
yeah. The thing is, I just listened to a podcast about this. I'm like obsessed with Mel Robbins right now. So everything is in my world is like a reference to Mel Robbins. Do you
Sure,
listen to her podcast at all?
I have not. Is she the
I
woman that says no one's going to help you?
I don't know if she says that, but she has the let them theory and the 5 second rule are her big two books. Um, but she just had a whole podcast that was about at each stage in your life, all of these things that society says we're supposed to have done. We're supposed to, you know, find ourselves in our 20s and then in our
Oh
30s we're
yeah,
supposed to get married and we're supposed to have babies and we're supposed to buy a house and in our
yep,
50s we're supposed to retire and she's like these rules were made at a time when things were different.
yeah,
And like
totally.
your parents buying a house in their 20s or 30s, like houses were much less expensive. Minimum wage was higher compared to
Hmm.
what it is now. Like it's just the rules of the game are different and we have to let go of these like standards that were just completely made up based on something that was happening 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Like the rules have changed and we need to change our standards. So, like, you're not a failure if you don't own a home, if you're not married at this time, if you don't have babies. Like, life, the world, everything is different and nothing is the same. And your parents might still believe that, like, a 30-year-old should own a home, but they don't realize that housing prices were maybe 80,000 back then. Now there's 700,000 for a house sometimes, but more
Yep.
like, and minimum wage is still 725. I mean, like, how is anyone supposed to on a just a regular job afford to buy a house? You can't. And
No, and
it's not the same investment that it was because it's so much more
no,
money. It's not. People say, oh, buying a house is a great investment if you can afford it. If not, you're spent by the time you pay the interest, you're spending way more on that house than someone in the 1950s was spending on interest and on their home in their house, like when they bought a house. So
you know,
it's
I
just
mean, like
like,
when
yeah, go ahead.
you're fine. I have too many opinions on everything. It's one of those things like, when you would get a second job, that was a moonlighting job for extra cash for whatever.
Right.
Now you need
Now
to
it's to
work three,
survive.
four, correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always had rotating jobs, and people will look at me like, well, why don't you stay at a job longer? They don't want to give me benefits. They don't pay me well enough. And when I try to juggle multiple part-time jobs together instead of having one nice solid job, they just look at me like I have two heads. Well, why don't you get an education? I have a bachelor's degree. Well, why don't you get your master's for a chance at a job?
Right.
A
And these are
chance.
people who, when you used to get a bachelor's or a master's, it
Yeah.
meant you got a good job that paid a living wage, that people just don't understand that things have changed. And so they're trying to make us live by these same rules, and it's just not the same. And so, like,
Yeah.
and I told you one of Mel Robbins' theories is let them believe you should have one job and get a master's degree and you should be able to buy a house and let them think that, fine, whatever. It's not the case. You are going to go live your life the way you can today, that's in your control, and not allow these things to mean that you're a failure because you're not, because most people today at your age do not own a home and cannot afford to own a home. Most people at your age are having to work multiple jobs to make a living. It's not a failure on your part. It's a failure on society. It's a failure on our government for not raising the minimum wage, not making corporations pay their taxes, not like this is not a failure of you as a human. This is a failure of our society. It's a choice for our government to allow people to go hungry and unhoused and um and allow people to become billionaires without taxing them.
Yep.
So I just want you to know that it's not your fault. And we can still work on these limiting beliefs that are keeping you unhappy and stuck. You
Okay.
can do both at the same time, not blame yourself and flip these around.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just doing a Zoom. Oh, good. You good? After I'm done. Love you, man. Okay. Have fun. One of the joys of living at home.
Yeah.
Mom always worries when I talk to myself.
Hi, Mom.
She
You're
says
very
hi,
sweet.
ma. Yeah, she's a good. She was the only reason why I got through my stuff and decided to try
Yeah.
embracing more of what I'm good at, which is human interaction, the human condition.
Yeah.
Because I had to study it every day with my eyes and my ears. Allergies.
Yeah. The worst. Um, so you had one parent who was misguided, who was cruel. Tell me about your
Yeah.
mom and how she treated you and what she said to you and instilled in you as beliefs.
Well, every day she would say to me, son, I want you to be a good citizen of the world. You see, there's a need for more kindness and empathy, but you have to understand why your dad is the way he is. You have to listen with your eyes and your ears because he lost his mom. He watched his mom perish in front of him at a gruesome 10 years old. He saw it, and nobody helped him. He had undiagnosed PTSD. He saw me as his second mom. And when your sister and you came along, it's like he saw me as his mom and became jealous.
Mm.
And there's a reason why we lived in bumblefuck nowhere because he does not play well with others. He could provide, but he could not be
He could
bothered.
provide
And
financially.
oh, absolutely, all the
Yeah.
time. And as I always said to my mom, he taught me how not to treat myself, my spouse, my kids, those around me.
You're the cycle breaker.
I have to
Yeah.
because I might be in a position one day, not soon, where I'll have to take responsibility for some little ones, and I want to not do that to them.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
I can
just,
tell. Vinny, I can tell by the way you treat your mom. Like you're you're a sweet, kind, empathetic person. Like it brings tears to my eyes. Like not everyone
I
treats their mom that way, you know?
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some days where I would instinctively, unintentionally treat her the way my dad would,
Hmm.
just yell and scream, and I've minimized it. But there are some days where I have knee-jerk reactions where I fall into that.
Everybody has
And
knee-jerk reactions.
and what has really made me more self-aware is when I was mad, when I, Vinny Ali, was mad.
Yeah.
She saw my dad and would say his name when
Wow.
addressing me.
Mm,
And that
that's
hurt
scary.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hurt more than anything else because I was never allowed to be mad. I'm still not. Every day she says,
Ah,
you got to let go of the anger.
yeah.
You can't yell in front of the neighbor kids. You can't yell in front of this and front of that because I already have a target on my back
So you're
because of the
pushing
way
down your anger because you're not
I
allowed to feel, it feels like you're not allowed to feel anger.
I'm not allowed to feel anger, and I've been trying to find better ways of expressing it. And that was through Muay Thai because they encourage that behavior, but also to be have a cool heart
Yeah.
to not let things affect you. And I was training so much that I would come home with black eyes every couple of days, and I wouldn't get upset when the customer got mad that I mismade their coffee or that
Yeah.
they didn't have the Newport 100s that they needed because without Newport 100s, their day would go to shit.
And it
I was
was
just
your
like,
fault.
okay,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely, everything
Yeah.
is my fault. I just even when I was a kid, the reason dad was mad was my fault. The reason my sister was mad was my fault. The reason why mom was sad was because of me. I was killing my mom because I was having bad grades and I wasn't listening to
And
my old
so
man.
is that true?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's so
That's
I really love the work of Byron Katie. It's actually called The Work. Have you ever heard of her?
I have not. No.
Okay. She's you should look into her, Byron Katie. Um, the work is a series of questions you do when you have a belief like everything is my fault. I'm killing my mother. Let's take that. Like
Yeah.
you're killing your mother.
Yep. That
And
was the old man's go-to.
you can say yes or no to these first two questions. And it's okay if you believe yes, it is true. Um, if you don't know, just say yes, because you're like, let me just go through it. Okay. You were killing your mother
Yeah.
with your behavior or your bad grades or whatever. Is that true? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And can you know that that is 100% absolutely 100% true?
No, because my
Great.
mom's my mom. That's her feelings.
That's
I
it.
cannot.
Just yes or no. That's it.
Okay.
So no, right?
Okay.
Can you know that it's 100% true?
No.
Okay. How do you feel or how do you react when you think the thought, because somebody put this in your brain, I'm killing my mother, and you believe that it's true? How do you react?
Disappointment, sadness, frustration, and less reason to get out of bed.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
Um,
I
who
also want to
would you
fight the
be?
fucker to say,
Yeah. Who would you be without believing the thought, I am or I was killing my mother?
a more balanced individual that doesn't need constant reassurance that I'm worthy.
Hmm. Wow. So, with the thought, I'm killing my mother, that somebody planted in your brain, believing that thought, you believe you're not worthy. And without the thought, you know your worthiness.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
It has to be the opposite.
Can you let go of that thought? I'm killing my mother. Can you, it's just a thought. Can you just let that thought go just for now?
Is this a hypothetical or is this an actual thing? I don't
It's
know what you want.
Does it feel like you can't say yes right now? It's okay.
No, not really. No, I mean, like some days I believe it more than others,
Yeah.
but like since you are like really dredging up the crap, it's hard to say anything positive and sticking with it at the moment,
Okay, that's okay.
truthfully.
So right now you're not allowing yourself to let go of the thought, I'm killing my mother.
Hmm.
What's going to happen to you if you can't let go of the thought and it's just a thought? When you do meditation, are you like letting the thoughts pass through you and recognizing that it's just a thought and letting it, how does your meditation practice work?
It's very simple. I just focus on my breathing and let my mind wander. Let it go through all the thoughts it wants to go through, good,
Mhm.
bad, and different. And then I write down my 10 things I'm grateful for on paper, and then I journal for a little bit. And sometimes I write 3 sentences, sometimes I write 2 pages, 3 pages of just what's going on, how I'm feeling about things, what I'm looking forward to, and just kind of mapping out how to next, use my next paycheck to invest in myself, which is my greatest asset. Like it usually goes an arc of like, son of a bitch, why am I awake today? Was it a good day yesterday? I ate too much food. To It was nice to see the family. I'm glad I
Mhm.
went and everything. Mom was happy, which was good. We got to see Aunt Sue, which is
Yeah.
nice. And it kind of
So you
goes
sort of
there. Then
get
it's
like
like,
all your all the that shit out first, and then you're able to, yeah,
that's
yeah,
the goal. Because like when
right.
you put pen to paper, it just makes things less intimidating
A
and
hundred
more
percent.
manageable.
Yes.
Like I have so many self-destructive habits that I like to do: junk food, gambling, et cetera, et cetera. And when I write it out, I'm like, well, I could spend $300 at the casino, or I could use $300 to get new headshots and get a recording in at a really nice studio.
Yeah.
And that could open up more doors. And then I'll secretly, cheekily say to myself, well, if I make more money as an actor, then I can spend more at the casino and not feel so bad.
There you go.
I,
That's
I, I
great.
use humor. I use humor a lot to disarm my crap.
Yeah,
It's
that's good.
just it's what I do.
Well, I just want to let me go back. We're going to come back to the I'm not worthy, but just like another thought that I remember you saying your dad said you were ungrateful. Like,
Oh yeah, every day.
what is the opposite of that? We're going to write it on the other side.
Uh,
The exact opposite.
Grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful. And how is that true in your own life, which you just told me every day you write down
10 things.
10
It's a lot of times
things?
are the same every day.
Who's
I mean,
ungrateful?
I am, because I didn't appreciate how hard he worked. 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, traveling 45 miles to work, 45 miles home every day, so he can rub elbows with celebrities.
This sounds like a script that was put in your head.
Oh my God, my dad's like George Clooney. He just always has a charming quip or something to say. He was not a highly educated man,
Do you think
book
that your
smart
dad
wise.
would would be considered a narcissist?
Oh, hells yeah.
Okay.
Undiagnosed, full on narcissist,
So let me
asshole.
tell you what narcissists do because we're seeing it big time right now and actually a lot of people, but um the one we won't name, uh any sort of accusation is actually just a confession. So who was actually killing your mom? Who was actually ungrateful?
My dad, my mom was a fucking saint. Still is, still is. What's funny is she wasn't even supposed to be here. My pop, her dad, we never called them grandparents. It was either, mom, your mom's dad. He
Yeah.
worked on the World War II ships and became sterile because of the plasma cutter.
Wow.
They drove across the country from Philly to California, worked in a bottle factory plant for like 2, 3 years, moved back to Philly, opened a grocery store. Grandmom, my mom's mom, gets into a car accident. She gets thrown out the car, a couple bumps and bruises. Hit her, Edith, you know you're pregnant, right?
Ah,
3, 4 months with my mom.
wow.
She was the miracle baby.
Wow.
Then came her sister. Then came her brother. Then came her sister, and that's a whole different thing. But yeah, mom wasn't even supposed to be here. My dad almost died when he was 10, watching his mom die.
Mm.
And mom was never supposed to be here, but she's here. And my mom, we lived on a 17 and a half acres of land, neighbored half a mile one way, half a mile the other way. She ran the house, took care of all the things. She was handy lady before YouTube, was a full-time nurse. She was. My dad had two left thumbs. Anything went wrong, mom fixed.
That's
Mom did all
amazing.
the cooking. It's just how it went.
Yeah.
And then the old man would just take advantage of everything. She would cook, she would clean, she took care of the random black snakes that came by to visit. There were a lot of them. That's what she did, and the old man would just take advantage of her kindness. And she enabled him. She enabled his piss poor behavior. So there's a little bit of resentment towards
Right.
that I'm working through.
Right.
Mom's a saint, but you know, there are some things about her
Yeah.
that
I mean,
I'm still like,
that's complicated, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
to the
Um,
least. Life is very complicated. The older I get, the more interesting it gets.
yeah. And
So
flawed people are way more interesting
they're more
than
fascinating.
so your mom is fascinating.
She's super fascinating. And she's so quiet and chill about things, but and she hates confrontation.
Did your
Absolutely
dad
despises it.
leave or did your mom make him leave?
Mom left when my sister decided to move out,
Okay.
and my dad proclaimed that my sister was dead to him,
Hmm.
and that was the final straw. I mean,
Yeah.
my mom had a very strong camel's back, as the old saying goes.
Yeah.
And that was the one where she was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
35 fucking
Don't
years of
F
trying
with
to
my
fix this man.
children.
No, no, I used to say, my dad never touched me or my sister because he knew she would
Yeah.
bury him in the backyard and make the best tomatoes this side of town. And we had the land for it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that, like, he was emotionally, psychologically abusive and manipulative
Yeah.
to my mom, to me, and my sister. And we're still feeling the effects even though we moved away.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, totally normal. And this is how you are growing. And, you know, I think
That's
he
why it's hard
was,
for me to stay positive, man.
yeah, of course.
I
When the
I
person you
have
love and who is supposed to take care of you and protect you, just like put these thoughts in your head every single day, it's like, yeah, it makes sense, dude.
Yeah, but it's like it's no excuse to stay that way. That's the problem. There's
Well,
no
you're working
excuse
on it.
to every damn day.
You're working on it.
Like I can
Yes.
choose how I react to
So,
things and
and every
such.
day you can choose. So then when these thoughts come into your head,
Hmm.
you can recognize them and you can feel your feelings. And then I want you to say, is
Feel
that
your
true?
feelings.
Is that true? Yes or no?
I was writing it
So
down.
let's take the I'm not worthy.
Sure, why not?
Or do you want to do I'm ungrateful? Do you want to keep going with that one or I'm not worthy?
I mean, ungrateful has already been in the works
Yeah.
because of the 10 things I'm
Right.
grateful for.
You're doing it.
So
So
it's
let's
kind
finish that. Can you let go of the thought I'm ungrateful?
of not completely,
Okay.
not yet at least.
Can you partially let go of the thought I'm not grateful?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's a chip, and the only way to get rid of a chip is either put it down or chip away at it. And
All
right now,
right.
I'm just kind
What
of
would
chipping
you
away
rather
at it.
do? Put it down or chip away at it?
I feel like if I chip away at it, I will see more why it's not helpful and won't put it back on my shoulder.
Okay.
That's the kind of thought process I have. Because like if you just let go of the anger and not understand it and address it, it just lingers and is ready to
What
hop back on.
can you address it and look at it while it's down on the ground? Like do me a favor, just like let's just experiment.
Yeah,
Okay, I want you to
sure.
literally pick up the thought, I am not grateful, and just like
Okay.
set it over here for now.
Yeah.
All right, and I want you to look at it from here. And instead of chipping away at it, we've set it down. Take a deep breath. What did you want to learn from chipping away at that thought?
That is not worth picking back up because it's
Okay.
familiar. It's familiar.
It is
That's the
familiar.
issue.
Yeah. Okay.
Super
So as
familiar.
humans, we are wired towards um, certainty. We want certainty, right? And we are also wired towards uncertainty. We want uncertainty in our life too. We want both. And
Hmm.
the thing is, like, there's a certain amount of uncertainty that we can handle. And I feel like as actors, like most actors can handle a lot more uncertainty than someone who like needs a full-time job with benefits, who they go to
Yeah.
the same place every day and they do the same thing. And like, that's their way of getting certainty. And, as actors, we can handle a lot more uncertainty than everybody else. But there's unhealthy uncertainty, gambling, right? Like you're totally,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And there's unhealthy certainty as well, which is like, hey, I'm going to hold on to all these things that make me feel like shit because I know it and
Yes.
it's the devil that I know versus the devil that I don't know, right? And so I think what we need to do is figure out some healthy certainty and some healthy uncertainty in your life so that you can replace them. I know, have you ever heard when you're talking about a diet that you just have to add in the good things and then you'll just be less likely to eat the bad things? So if you eat like an apple and peanut butter, you're going to be less likely to eat a bag of chips because you're not going to be hungry and you're going to fuel yourself with the good things first. So I think
Mm.
because you are sort of addicted to unhealthy certainty and unhealthy uncertainty,
Yep.
that we can find ways to get healthy certainty and healthy uncertainty in your life. And you already are doing some of these things, right? The healthy uncertainty is being an actor. That's
Oh, it's hugely
huge.
uncertain. Like I
Yeah.
know that like it's against me and but yet I still do it because it makes sense. I try getting away from it many times,
Yeah.
but
It keeps
it's the one
pulling you
thing
back in.
it just makes sense.
I
It's the
think it's
reason why I
good
get
for
out of bed.
you. I think it's a better uncertainty than gambling all your money away, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Deal with that later.
what are some ways that you can feel certain in your life that aren't just the shitty thoughts and beliefs that someone placed on you when you were a kid?
Well, all I know is that I can only get smarter if I read.
Okay, great. So reading gives you certainty.
Yeah, going for walks,
Great.
cooking with mom.
Great.
I mean, like I don't know. I'll play more D&D. What's it called? Socializing more, which is tough as an adult because everyone's got kids and they got family, and see that's what happens. Like I
Yeah.
get the good thing, and then it's like, "Dang, da, 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 da. This is why it's not going to work, son. So just give up." Oh, you should hang out with your friends. 3, 4 people call on Saturday night. I'm too tired. I got no money. I got to hang out with the kid. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, well, fuck. I'm just another nerd on Saturday night. What am I going to do? Might as well go to the casino when it's most expensive, or might as well fucking do a podcast where no one's listening. I get like 2 or 3 hits, or get on the TikTok, do a voiceover challenge. So maybe I can get closer to the booth and, you know, stuff like that. It
Okay.
just feels vain.
So,
That's the thing. Like I just go and then backtrack, go backtrack.
okay. What makes you think that life should be and will be linear and perfect and everyone will do what you want them to do all the time?
Because why else would I be given such a shitty hand as a kid? Why else can I justify all this crap that I have to deal with if there isn't some light at the end of the tunnel? And
So,
how much I bend over backwards to make time for them. Why
okay.
is it so hard that they can't see that I'm making an effort and that it's kind of one-sided at times and it sucks when you're not there when I need it. I'm a ride or die for myself.
Yeah.
I have no ride or dies.
You have
And
no ride
that's
or dies. Okay, let's
I
do that.
have no ride or dies.
Let's do that one. I have no ride or dies. Um,
I'm my own ride or die.
I'm my own
And
ride or die. That's fine. On the right-hand side, what is the opposite of I have no ride or dies?
I have ride or dies? I don't know.
Right, write it down. I have ride or dies.
Yeah, that's called money or myself.
On the left-hand side, we're gonna go through this with the Byron Katie, the work. Okay. I have no ride or dies. Is that true? Yes or no?
Yes, I have no ride or dies.
Okay. Can you know that's 100% absolutely true?
No.
Okay.
It's proven 98% of the time.
Okay. 98% is not
Yeah,
enough.
90. Yeah, but it's still a big fucking number compared to
Who
most
would you,
people.
who are you when you believe the thought I have no ride or dies?
An honest man in his 30s in this time period,
What do you do? How do you react when you believe the thought I have no ride or dies?
I just react depressed and in a funk and just fucking deal with it
Okay.
and figure shit on my. I have to just figure it out on my own, like I always do.
Do you attract people when you're in that state? Or do you repel people when you're in that state? When you
Since I
believe
have
the
no
thought,
writer,
I have no ride or dies, and you react as depressed and chip on your shoulder, can I add that in?
sure, why not?
Do you attract ride or dies?
No,
Who would you be
because
without the thought, I have no ride or dies?
more balanced person that didn't have to feel the need to not trust anyone to help.
Okay.
No one's coming to help me. That's the bottom line,
So,
especially now.
no one's coming to help me. Here's the thing. I think you do. I, if you had to guess, who might be a ride or die in your life? Who might you guess would be your ride or die?
My mom at this point.
Great. Does that not count? Because she's your mom?
It doesn't count because she's done enough. I don't
Doesn't
want to
matter
ask
what
more
she's
from
done.
her.
She's your ride or die.
Yeah. It's just not fair to constantly rely upon her to save my butt. It's not, it's not, it shouldn't be that way.
It
I
shouldn't
should
be that
be,
way. Is that true?
yeah, she
You
should
can
be able to
know
live her life.
absolutely 100% that it is true that you shouldn't rely on your mom to be your ride or die. Who's more
No,
likely to be someone's ride or die? I would do fucking anything for my fucking son.
right? That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's how it's ideally supposed to be. And then
Yes.
you
And
get just,
sometimes it's
but when
not.
yeah,
It's
that's very true.
it's not guaranteed.
I'm aware,
Yes, painfully aware.
painfully aware, you know,
So when you say I have no ride or dies and you act that way, but you have a ride or die, you're doing
yeah.
yourself a disservice.
Oh my God. My mom
Jeez.
is my ride or die.
Yeah. Also, like
Oh
your
man.
friends who are taking care of their kids, that's because their kids are their ride or die.
Yeah, and I don't get mad at them for it. It's just it sucks when I have no one to hang out with,
Yeah, totally. And
you know.
also like that's just gonna happen. Like people have lives outside of each other. Like it's not their responsibility to hang out with you 100% of the time. So
No,
when
I'm
you
aware.
think that it is, and when you think, well, I would do it for you, you need to give without asking for anything in return. Like you can't keep score, dude. I can tell you're keeping score, and I used to keep score as well. And what does keeping score of all the nice things you do for people and the ways you show up for people, what does that do when you keep score?
creates conflict because there's always an imbalance.
Yeah, there's always going to be an imbalance, and you're doing it to get something in return. If you're going to give to get something in return, it's not going to feel good because it's never going to be balanced.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to give for the sake of giving and not keep score and not expect anything in return and give because it feels good to give. And the minute you start keeping score and you start expecting something in return, people don't like that shit. People aren't going to want to hang out with someone who's expecting something in return. They don't want to take your good thing if they know it comes with you expecting something. It's not actually giving. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It'll make more sense tomorrow,
Yeah, of
but
course.
it makes sense. Everything makes more sense in the morning,
Of course. You'll journal about it and you'll feel your feelings and then you'll have an aha moment.
probably.
So, how's that belief down there of the I'm ungrateful? How's it doing over there? You want to just
I
keep it on the
mean,
floor for a while, like maybe for a week, just like keep it right there on the floor where it was? Or would you like to like throw it out the window?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
It's one of those things like anger, pain, frustration. You have it so long, it becomes comforting. When
Uh-huh.
I caught COVID for the first time, I had two hallucinations. One where I was hanging out with mom, but then I couldn't find her because I was in my apartment. And then a second, I was out playing golf with my dad, which we never did. We just fucking drank and drove around a golf cart. And I realized that my dad will never be who I want him to be. My sister will never be who I want them to be. And I felt light,
Hmm.
confusingly light. I was like, who am I without my anger?
Ah,
It's like it's like when my dad retired, who is he without his job? He's a
yeah.
shell of a person.
Your anger like
And
is part of you and makes you who you are. Why don't
it's
you do some journaling around that? Who would I be without my anger?
oof, I don't even know who that guy would be.
Hmm. There's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, yeah,
And here's the thing though, you can always access it. It'll always be there for when you
yeah.
need it, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's not that you're totally 100% getting rid of it and it's like you won't be as good of an actor because you can't access it. Like, but who would
Well,
you be without holding on to it as part of your personality every day?
I'd probably be more balanced,
It
have
seems
a
like
cool
you want to
heart.
be balanced.
I mean, I used to do this thing where I write down 10 things I'm grateful, like 10 things that uh how did it go? I used to write this one list. It was like 10 things that I like about myself,
Mm.
10 things I've accomplished, and then 10 things that I want to accomplish. Like the first
Mm.
seven were easy, like brush your teeth, read a book, blah, blah, blah. But then seven, eight, nine, 10 were big ones. And I would always say inner peace, my own place, full-time working actor, 180 pounds of pure muscle and sinew. And the idea is like you keep writing those until those become daily. And I've always sought inner peace because my mom has always sought inner peace.
Mhm.
She always seen me as a sunflower in one angle and a swirling vortex in the other. Because I was always unsettled, always anxious and riled up about something, and just fearful that something bad was going to happen. The next foot was going to drop, and that was going to fuck everything up. With Muay Thai, they always said, you gotta have a cool heart no matter what. You get punched in the face, so what? You get elbowed in the eye, so what? What are you gonna do today? Doesn't matter how many skip knees you threw yesterday or how many miles you ran the day before. What are you gonna do right now in this moment? And how are you gonna react effectively? And I've been reading about Stoicism and just with
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius, I have fucking quotes on my wall. I got Marcus Aurelius. If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. I
Yeah.
got Seneca, the greatest wealth poverty of desires, and I got Maya Angelou, Epictetus, and
I love that.
I'm yeah, it's just fun. And I have vision boards somewhere
So
that I usually
you're
look at
you keep writing down, I want inner peace.
every day.
And how is holding on to anger getting you inner peace? How is holding on to I'm not worthy, I'm ungrateful getting you inner peace?
It's the delusionary thought of if I hold on to the bad, it'll counterbalance the good that I have.
Ah, oh, this is interesting. Okay. So, okay. Is holding on to the bad actually balancing out the good that you have, or is it doing something else?
I don't know.
You need to experiment.
Because yeah, because like I've always believed that if I was to always say I'm so positive all the time, all is well, then when things go to shit, I can't handle it. I'm more aligned with Christopher Titus, who's kind of my spirit animal. He's a stand-up comedian that talks about
Mhm.
how messed up people can handle when bad things happen because they've dealt with it their entire life, so they're desensitized to it. My mom could see the swirling vortex, end of the world in the sky, and she'll look at us and say, "What do you guys want for dinner?"
Mhm.
Because that's what she can control. She can't control all this crap.
Right.
She said to me, you can deflect all this negativity, son, all the time and everything. You just let it seep into your skin. I'm like, Mom, if you have ever been in a fight, no matter how good your defense is, you're still going to take damage. And when you take damage over time, it just stays with you. I'm not as fast as I used to be. I can still hit hard, but not as hard as I used to. It's a different kind of hard because it's more placed. And instead of throwing, 5 body kicks, I throw 3 body kicks that set people down. Anyway, I
Way. Let's go back to
talking.
this balance and peace and anger and your beliefs.
That's a lot.
We
I
can,
hope you got
we
time.
can, and it's been an hour, so we can stop and come back to it another day. But I
Whatever.
just want you to think about it, journal about it. Who would I be? Could I still be balanced? Do I need to actually be balanced? Who would I be if let go of these thoughts that are keeping me stuck and unhappy and feeling unworthy? Who would I be if I let them go? I think a person who is worried about, like, you're never going to be your dad. You are not your dad. You don't have to worry that if you let go of these thoughts that you'll become your dad because you won't.
Like I always say, I got my dad on the outside, my mom on the inside. I'm okay with that. But there are some days where it creeps in,
Yeah.
where I have the irrational reaction to things, and it just.
And it's going to happen. And what we're
But think,
doing is we're recognizing it and we're letting it go and we're choosing to believe something else. We're choosing to believe I am worthy. We're choosing to believe I am grateful because it's true, because you're inherently worthy because you were born. You don't have to do, be, or say anything to be worthy. You are worthy because you were born.
I didn't ask to be born.
I think maybe you did, or you wouldn't be here.
I've been very lucky. Like my dad, he's a cockroach. Not that he's dirty; he's very clean. He just he has a lot of luck. He survived 4 car accidents, 1 motorcycle ride, almost being burned
Oh my God.
twice, colon cancer, diabetes, Bell's palsy. The man's lucky, and losing the love of his life. The man is lucky, and he grew up in a third world country.
Yeah.
He's a lucky sob,
Hmm.
and it just fascinates me sometimes what he's gone through, and yet he's still miserable, and he is who he is, and he's in Virginia where he belongs, as I always say. Anyway,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing everything with me today.
yeah.
Obviously,
Hope it
this is
wasn't.
not an overnight thing, but
Yeah.
it's the beginnings. You know, I don't know if you have any insights right now that you want to share, or if you need some time to process this and then share your insights.
I mean, it's all the same. Just it's the same problems that followed me since I was a kid. Just accepting it's I can either accept things or agree with things. You know, accept my dad for the way he is and not disagree that he could have done better. And just, stop being that victim and just fucking keep creating my own opportunities as an actor. It's exhausting when when things don't
I
work
think
because
it's
it's your problem.
exhausting because you think you need to hold on to things that you don't need to hold on to make you a balanced person. That is exhausting. The holding on to things that you can let go of because you want to be balanced, that's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's not balanced. It's weighing you down. It's way off balance because you're believing those things more than you're believing the other things. So by letting go, you're never going to fully let them go. They're still going to be around. By letting them go, you're actually going to find more balance. And then it's going to feel lighter and easier.
Hopefully. It's got to. I always believed if I'm gonna be miserable, I might as well be miserable doing what I love. If I'm
Well,
gonna be
might as well
alone,
not be miserable, dude.
yeah,
How about that?
that's a weird concept, not
Huh.
being miserable.
Is that something
That's
you
like,
ever thought might be possible? Not being miserable?
no, to some degree, I always feel like there's gonna be some kind of misery in my life because
Okay.
just life keeps throwing a lot of shit at me.
I'd write
But I
that
keep getting,
down. I'm always going to be miserable on the left-hand side. I
well,
need to hold on to my negative beliefs because they keep me balanced. Write that down on the left-hand side. These are what's keeping you stuck and unbalanced and miserable. Would you agree?
yeah, I mean, I've lived with it most of my life.
Doesn't mean that
Always
you
lower
can't
my
wake up
expectations.
tomorrow and choose something different.
Yeah,
And every day you make a choice. Because every day you're making a choice right now to believe it and to hold on to it. You are choosing already. I'm asking
yeah,
you if you're willing to choose something different. Because what's going to happen if you keep doing the same?
more of the same. And I'm not really too happy with the same that I got going on.
Why don't you do an experiment? Why don't you experiment with letting go? And I know that's easier said than done, but it's just a thought.
Yeah, I try trying different tactics all the time.
Mhm. All right, we'll try this one. We'll like physically set them down or throw them out the window or go throw them into the lake. I don't know, like whatever you need to do to like put it physically into your body.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing yourself today, for being vulnerable, for being willing to see things differently. I know it's exhausting, just a little bit.
Well, I mean, if you hold yourself accountable through others, you're more likely to actually do something about it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
figured why the fuck not?
great. Okay. Um, so just before we go, let's just review a couple of the new beliefs on the right-hand side that maybe you're going to pick up instead of the ones on the left. Hmm?
I said, all right, hold on. I had to
Okay.
get the page back. All right, what we got?
What's the opposite of I'm ungrateful?
Uh, I'm grateful
Hmm. And how is it true?
because I'm still alive.
I mean, you physically write down
Oh,
10
yeah, I
things a
do.
day
Yeah,
you're grateful for.
I do. Try to prime the pump for goodness, as they say.
Yeah. I am not worthy. What's the opposite of that?
Hold on.
Okay.
To figure out what I gotta. I wrote a lot of stuff, so I had to go through it all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I am worthy.
I need to hold on to the negative beliefs to keep me balanced.
I don't need to hold on to the negative thing. How about I need to hold on to the good things?
Yeah. Or I need to let go of the bad. Like, yeah, either one. That's good. Yeah. Because you have both in you. It's a spectrum, right? You have you're just choosing to put more weight on the other side. And
Yeah,
you think it's keeping you balanced or that it will keep you balanced.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Um, I am killing my mother.
And that was the big one.
Yeah. What's a more empowering belief? What's the opposite?
I'm um, I guess it's too cliche to say that I'm loving my mom
I
or
fucking
I'm
love that. It's exactly what I was thinking in my head, and I fucking love it. And how is that true?
um, the other day she was having issues with finding bike shoes. So instead of going out Saturday night, I spent like 20 minutes finding her a bike shop so she could buy shoes. She's like, "Oh, I don't know what kind of shoes I need for the YMCA." Google the YMCA, figure out what kind of shoes she needs. "Oh, I don't want to go to Mannion to get the shoes because that's where the bike person said we can go to one town over, Mom. We don't need to go into Philly for this thing." It was exhausting, but it was like that. And I go with her on church every Sunday
Yeah.
um,
Seems like you
because
do acts
she,
of service, you spend quality time, you probably give her words of affirmation. You know about the love
I,
languages?
yeah, yeah. I need to refresh, but I'm
Yeah.
a little familiar with them. I definitely do tell her, how grateful I am. I appreciate her, and
Oh, you're grateful? Oh, you're grateful
uh,
for your mom?
yeah, sometimes oh God, she's funny. The other day she cursed at me, and I was like, "Mom, what are you doing?" She says, "Mom, son, I was a girl long before I was your mother. If you're gonna be a shit ass, I'm gonna call you a shit ass."
I love your mom.
She's a saint. I swear to God, and she makes me laugh so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is good. This is good stuff.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna leave
Okay.
you on that note. You love your mom.
Yeah, I love my mom. It's no big secret. I'm Italian. Of course, I'm love my mom.
Hello.
Right? You get it.
I get it. I'm Italian. I'm Sicilian.
Yeah. La Bruzia. Mom's famous from La Bruzia.
Okay. Our family was my grandpa's last name was Randazzo, which is a town in Italy, and my grandma's last name was Marsala, which is a town in Sicily. Both were in Sicily. So I
Yeah.
believe that's
Yeah.
where they're from.
Sounds about
Okay,
right.
Cool. Well, I would love to hear back from you when you sort of meditate on this and give it some time and process it. And, you know, when you're ready to see it differently and let go of those beliefs that are keeping you down, keeping you stuck,
Yeah.
let me know.
Um, yeah. I'll see what I can do. I got a lot to process as always.
Yes, of course. And just like I can tell you are a good human, an empathetic person, a loving person, a grateful person. And you can choose to believe that more than you believe the other shit that someone told you
It's
once.
hard.
Yeah.
It was hardwired. It was like, when you want to make a lie a truth, you say it enough times, enough people believe it,
Yeah, we see that happening today too.
at least.
Don't you want to just shake those people who are believing all those lies?
No, because that's not going to help them. I've tried.
Yeah.
I've learned that you have to let them fall on their face enough times and let them make the change. Because if you fight back physically, it just emboldens them more.
No, I know. I don't actually mean shake them.
I know what you mean.
I
I know
just
what you
mean
mean.
like you can
It's like,
see
dude,
them
it's
believing
so
in narcissist
clear.
lies.
Trust me, I grew up with a narcissist. I'm very familiar with all the things. And it's exhausting. But,
Yeah, it
you
is
know,
exhausting.
and what happens is you have to let them get hurt in a way that makes sense to them. It's like a German Shepherd dog. Sometimes you got to kick them in the balls. Some days you just got to let them fall on their face.
I don't know
But
anything
they'll
about
learn.
that, but
Yeah, German Shepherds are very uh, challenging, but in a good way.
mm,
Beautiful dog. One of my favorites in the world. But yeah, anyway,
okay. Well, thank you for sharing time with me and yeah, just keep in touch.
will do. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. I will talk to you later.
Okie dokie.
Bye.